Hi, I'm Avery or Hazel or Kylie. You can just pick one.
Hello, I am Lily.
And I know what word I want to say, but I can't because there are preschool toys around.
I'm a preschool toy.
Welcome to From the Closet. Today we are covering Toy Story. Uh, it actually has nothing to do with the coincidentally close release of Lightyear. Um, we're recording this on June 24th, the day the world fell apart, or at least America. But we're not talking about that today. Um,
Weird Mageddon?
yeah,
I
for
mean,
real.
actually, I live in Oregon. I might as well check.
But yeah, sorry if you guys listening can hear my air conditioner. It is the middle of summer in Alabama. I'm not turning it off.
Yeah, I'm glad, my fan isn't, you can't hear that. Though it's not a typical fan, it's the fan for my 3D printer,
Mm.
as that's currently going.
So yeah, before we get into the swing of things, I'm going to spin the wheel to determine what our next movie is. And spinning now. Oh, okay. It landed on the request slot.
Yep.
So
Huh.
we're going to have to talk to someone and have them pick out a movie for us to cover.
Are you going to, have an edit on what we're going to be covering, after
Yeah,
recording?
hopefully I will edit in if I remember. Hopefully I will edit in that the what the next movie is.
And the movie will be...
Kiki's Delivery Service.
Okay, we can continue.
uh, but yeah, um, so going forward in this podcast, there will be spoilers for Toy Story. Um,
Just 1 second.
I
I'm just a little bit surprised we've never landed on the request spot.
I mean, it hasn't been a thing for that long,
I mean, that's true, but we have been going strongly for quite a while.
but yeah. So going forward, there will be spoilers for Toy Story. I don't know how you haven't seen this movie yet. It's like 27 years old. Yeah, 27 because I'm 25,
Oh,
and the movie's
God.
older than me.
I mean, obviously it's older than me.
Yeah. But anyway, if you are listening to this on YouTube, you will find a link below to rent or purchase this movie. You can also watch it on Disney Plus. Okay, spoilers going forward from here. So, let's get the few negatives I have for this movie just out of the way right at the beginning.
Ooh, he sucks. Kidding.
No. Um, so, one of the first things, obviously, some of the animation has not aged well.
I mean, obviously I've never been that person to be like, graphically, this looks horrible. Though, the jaw lines.
The human faces in particular are the big issue, I would
I mean, I
say.
never liked, things being 100% realistic. That's why I have a problem in the game industry nowadays. But
But even still,
I
like
can
most
definitely see
other
the
human
problems. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
most other human faces in animation aren't like weird and grotesque.
I mean that they can still give me nightmares, but
Yeah.
I don't see the problem as big as other people would.
I mean, let's put it this way. The human faces in Super Mario Sunshine are not as terrifying.
Yeah.
But of course, this movie is still older than that because this movie is 1995. Another issue I have with this movie, and it's a more of a matter of personal taste. The only good song in this movie is You've Got a Friend in Me. I don't like any of the other songs that have lyrics.
Wait, what are the other ones that I cannot remember?
I don't actually know the names of the songs.
Because at least something I do not remember another song in this movie that had lyrics.
I do remember there's one when Buzz when Buzz tries to fly when he's in Sid's house. And I know there's another somewhere in the movie, but I can't remember where it is.
I mean,
One other
I guess
thing-
that's how forgettable it was.
One other thing, and this will take a decimal point off my final score. There is a Wilhelm scream in this movie.
Really? Wait, where?
Yes. It is when Buzz is knocked out of the window of Andy's room.
Disgraceful.
So, yeah.
I actually remember.
It's automatically getting a point off for that.
I
But
actually
going
remember
forward,
when,
everything is positive.
No, I actually remember when you we were doing a few episodes of the podcast and replacing the wheel, and I remember you were telling me the next thing that you wanted to put on the wheel was Toy Story. And well, we've gone quite a long time without Toy Story.
Yeah, and then we finally get to it just after Lightyear comes out. Complete coincidence.
Coincidence?
And no-
I think not.
Hey, shut up, Ernie. But yeah, I think it's incredible what this movie managed to do. Like, not all of the animation has aged badly. It's mostly just the human faces.
And
And
even
this was-
then, back in this time, like even the faces was a godsend.
Well, see, no, because there really wasn't anything to compare it to except for
Exactly.
except for like hand-drawn animation, which I would argue the human faces in hand-drawn animation looked better. But
Well,
this
Probably, yeah,
movie-
but
this movie was the first feature-length animated CGI movie, like computer animated. The first one ever. And this was in 1995. I need you guys to understand, they weren't even running Windows XP on these machines. They were not even running Windows 2000, not even Windows 98. They were on Windows 95 when animating this movie.
yikes.
Yeah,
Like, they're
like-
on Windows, why not Linux? That was a joke.
like, I don't even think I could pull something like this off on Windows 10, I'm gonna be real with you.
The people at Pixar are geniuses, especially when it comes to animation.
Yeah, I mean, there is so much work that went into this movie, including like developing new pieces of software specifically so that they could work better on this movie.
You know, people hear animation and they don't know all the other work, because it's not just art. You also have developing programs to make animation easier and smoother.
Yeah, and like, you know, on top of that, there's also like sound design, because with like live action, sounds can be generated organically, like you know, like the sound of a shirt rustling or something, you know, that's generated organically. But when you're talking about an animated feature, every sound
None
you
of
hear
this
has to be,
happened. Like,
yeah, everything you hear has to be created by a sound designer or
Pixar didn't use
ripped
black
from another
magic.
sound designer.
Pixar didn't use some black magic hoodoo and brought toys to the living. All of
And the
that
thing is,
sound
like-
was authentic. Or not.
Yeah. And the thing is, like,
No.
this
Hmm.
the sound design aspect, it literally only works if people don't notice it.
It's like magic.
That's the crazy thing. So I'm gonna say it. This movie does like an excellent job with the sound design because you don't really think about it until someone points it out, and like I had to point it out there.
Hmm.
Um, Beyond that, I guess there is one other negative. There is kind of a pretty big plot hole. Um, Buzz thinks he's a space ranger, so there is really no reason for him to be freezing up whenever a human enters the room.
I have and this is more of a plot hole, and my reasoning would be more of a goof rather than an actual theory. But I mean, what do you do when you see a creature thousand or pretty big, way bigger than you, just comes up and approaches you?
He's not scared of Andy, though. That's the thing. And he still freezes up when Andy comes in.
I don't know. There's well, also about freezing to humans, but I remember Woody calling that a rule. But who decided that rule? How does every toy know that rule? I have many questions.
Yeah, and we'll see the same problem, I think, with Forky in Toy Story 4. Um,
Why does Forky want to die so much?
'Cause he's trash, like me, and this podcast.
Wow.
But
Me, I'm the trash
anyway,
man.
uh, yeah. So that's pretty much all the negatives. We gotta say, You've Got a Friend in Me is great. It's probably it's definitely the most iconic Pixar song.
Oh,
Although
definitely.
although really not my favorite. I have a hard time picking because I mean, When She Loved Me is great. Touch the Sky is great. Hell, frickin' even Nobody Like You is great. So I don't know. It's definitely not unforgettable.
Oh, definitely not.
No, I meant like
Um,
my favorite Pixar song is not the song
oh,
Unforgettable.
but I mean, um, obviously, like you said, this song and the movie is iconic.
Yeah, I mean it's where Pixar got their start, and it, of course, like being the first CGI, like feature-length CGI animated film, it laid the groundwork for many more CGI animated films to come. And again, this was on Windows 95.
And may I just say how amazing that their first feature-length film probably opened up their gateway to so much monetization for toys because
For
it's
real.
Toy Story.
I mean, I imagine the Potato Head brand, or the Mr. Potato Head brand, as it were, like, they saw a massive surgence in popularity because of Toy Story, and then like, of course, you have the toys that were completely original to Toy Story, like Woody
Woody.
and Buzz and Jesse, who we don't know yet.
Sorry, who is Jesse? No, I've seen the second movie.
Your mom.
No, it can't be.
But yeah,
Though it's kind of weird to see Buzz live for so long after having his midlife crisis so early.
I mean, it's not really a midlife crisis because technically, well, how long can Buzz live is a really interesting question because
It's
the
a question
answer
I
is
don't want to know.
it depends. For one, he could be destroyed, by
Yeah.
being burned to a crisp.
Huh, I wonder if we're gonna see that later.
Um, for another, if you believe the Pixar theory, he could be forgotten. Um, and that
Yeah,
would
but
lead
then
to
what about
him.
like the lost toys, which are very much, living without human contact?
They're living without human contact, but are they living without people remembering them?
Hmm.
In fact, it actually okay. The idea that human memories are what's keeping the toys alive paints a really dark picture for a certain character in Toy Story 2. We'll get to that.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that's Pixar theory stuff. And speaking of which, since Lightyear recently came out, I guess I'll briefly touch on that. It's just a movie that exists within the Toy Story universe. Like, this is literally confirmed in the movie, so nothing. um, at least I think it's literally confirmed in the movie. Regardless, it's confirmed somewhere. I
It's
haven't seen it.
confirmed somewhere.
Yeah.
Yay!
I think a director or something probably confirmed that it takes place, like the movie exists as a movie within the Toy Story universe,
So what you're
which means
saying is,
Pixar exists within the Toy Story universe.
oh god.
No, I'm kidding.
No.
Their stance is probably it was developed by some studio that exists within the Toy Story
Well,
universe,
actually,
but
yeah, because Pixar is at least as we know it, Pixar is an animated studio, right?
yeah,
Like they're an animation studio. But in that universe, that would be
the
live
movie,
action.
yeah, the movie would be live action. Um, it also kind of helps explain, you know, the massive popularity of Buzz Lightyear.
So Buzz Lightyear, and here's how I know it. Buzz Lightyear was a movie, and then was a TV show.
Yes. If you want to watch the Buzz Lightyear TV show, good luck because Disney has basically scrubbed it from everywhere.
Really? How
Yeah.
would you originally have watched it?
I believe it aired on Cartoon Network. I don't know if that's accurate. Maybe it was Disney Channel. That seems to make more sense, but
Yeah, that'd be.
I don't know.
When he said Cartoon Network, I was like, excuse me?
Yeah. But like even if it didn't, then likely as not it was VHS only. I only
Hmm.
saw like the first couple of episodes that were released as that were released on one VHS, and it was like titled Buzz Lightyear of Star Command: The Adventure Begins, and I don't remember shit. But
Interesting.
yeah,
So, I mean, it's not uncommon for a movie to do so well. It gets its own animated series.
I believe that's actually the canon. Is that series is the animated spin-off of the Lightyear movie.
Yeah, and then that series got a toy. And obviously, and I still want to know who in the world was responsible for manufacturing so many Buzz Lightyears.
Your mom.
So, and it's known in Toy Story 2 that um, the manufacturers could not keep up with consumer demands. And now there's just a big shelf filled with them.
I think it may. I think that, maybe more on the other characters in the movie, and especially the robotic cat creature.
Hmm. Yeah,
But
and also you never really saw a package of Zurg until when Zurg was chasing after Buzz.
yeah, but we haven't even met Zurg yet. He was mentioned a couple of times.
Yeah, though it's weird. And I don't know if this is supposed to be foreshadowing, or they watched Toy Story 1 again and they thought, let's take this minute little detail and just make that into the second movie.
I
But
think I think that Toy Story 2 was always planned. Toy Story 3, maybe. Definitely not Toy Story 4.
oh, definitely not Toy Story 4. But
I, I,
it's
and just to get this out of the way now, I think Toy Story 4 was great, but
she
I don't think they
hates Toy
initially
Story
planned on
3.
making. Yeah, that may change. Who knows? It has the
Oh
actress
yeah,
from Mabel in it.
I don't know if that's supposed to be a good thing or a bad thing. You hated Mabel.
I didn't hate her voice actor,
That's true.
and I also didn't really hate Mabel until the end of season 2.
That's also fair. Um. So back
So
on the movie. Back to my original point. I feel like you would understand what I meant by foreshadowing. When you saw Buzz Lightyear advertisement, it cut to Alice Toy Barn,
yeah,
which was the original, which is the main focus of the second movie.
mm-hmm.
And I don't know if that's foreshadowing or, again, they just watched the first movie and thought, yeah, let's do Alice Toy Barn.
Well, thinking about it, I believe Toy Story 2 was Pixar's third movie.
Yeah, and that's what makes me think it was more they're planning Toy Story 2's at least story, and that's when Alice Toy Barn came up.
Yeah, I think it was planned from the get-go. Just personally, that's my thoughts on it. Um, Maybe someone's confirmed it at some point. Who knows?
Hmm.
Also, just as a side, I know uh, for the one person who might see this and be like, oh, they disproved the Pixar theory in the bonus features of Story 4. One, that was before Soul, and Soul did a whole lot more to prove it. Two, that was just a couple of people saying that they don't actively think about it when they're making new movies. Nintendo doesn't actively think about the Zelda timeline when they make new Zelda games, but it's still a fucking thing. Moving on.
Hmm. I was gonna say something, but I forgot. Oh yeah, so I remember a while back that a lot of people have tried to defend Sid and he
Yes,
did not.
I was gonna bring that up. Oh my god, I've seen Screen Rant do it because, of course, they did.
Hmm.
And it's like, I get where they're coming from, and it's like, technically he should have the right to do what he wants with his toys, but he's not just doing it with his toys.
Yeah, he's
And he's screwing up his sister's toys, he's tormenting his sister, and it's like, no.
yeah, he's definitely a menace. And
Yeah,
even though he didn't know that his toys had feelings, I feel like he should have known his sister had feelings.
exactly.
So yeah, that's what I wanted to say on that.
Yeah, but of course Screen Rant defended him because, like, they defended fucking Shere Khan in the Jungle Book. The
Yikes.
guy literally wanted to murder a child, so...
Not looking good for you there, Screen Rant.
Yeah. In fact, I think there was another case of them describing a child murderer as right, but I can't remember who it was.
Yikes.
Huh?
I said yikes.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I honestly think Screen Rant and CinemaSins are the worst film and TV content on YouTube.
it's not like Sid got any physical or even just their parents would have to spend a lot of money on therapy now.
Yeah, I love that, at the end, Hannah, gets to, have a little bit of revenge on Sid. It's nice.
Oh, definitely. Especially now he's afraid of all toys.
Yes. Brilliant. Do you often think, like, because of this movie, like, did you often think as a kid that when you weren't around that your toys would be coming to life? Or imagine what it would be like if they could?
I feel like by the time at least because I was way too young for this movie, and obviously by the time I watched it, I think I was old enough to know that my toys would not be coming to life.
But did you ever imagine what it would be like if
I
they
feel
could?
like a little bit, yeah.
Like, I actually still sometimes imagine, like, when I'm out of my apartment, what my amiibo would be doing if they could come to life.
Honestly, I'm looking at my Disney Infinity collection, which, to be honest, just got a little bit bigger. On a
I'd
side
love to
note,
grab some. I'd love to grab some Disney Infinity figures, not for Disney Infinity, but just to have them.
yeah, you're a collector. But on a side note, Sully's doing like that perfect pose of like, hey, are you gonna eat that?
And the funny thing is, like, today we would normally be recording a TV show episode, but we don't have to.
All right. The virtues of recording early.
Yeah, because we recorded next month's TV show episode all the way back in March.
Though we do need to record what was it? Mystery Incorporated?
Yeah, but that's in July when we record that.
Yeah. When we record it, Jesus.
But yeah, I don't think we are ever going to be covering some of the weird, side stuff that they made, like Toy Story of Terror or Toy Story That Time Forgot.
Oh yeah. They make a little bit of weird things.
Yeah, I never even watched them. I have seen all of the movies though, minus Lightyear. I haven't seen Lightyear.
Yeah, actually I believe Lightyear's on Disney Plus.
No, it's in theaters.
No, wait. One second. There was something on Disney Plus that was Lightyear related.
I believe it's Beyond Infinity.
That's right. Yeah. When I was watching the first movie, I saw that as an available option.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to wait for Lightyear to drop on Disney Plus before I can watch it.
I might see it in theaters. I haven't decided yet.
Also, fun fact, it's the 25th Pixar movie, I think.
1 second.
And Toy Story was their first, so it just kind of makes sense if that's accurate.
You can continue talking about things you like while I'm looking this up.
So, I like how believable it is when all the other characters kind of turn on Woody, because like it it honestly reminds me of something we see in the MCU much later, where a bunch of characters turn on a certain well, basically the whole world turns on a certain character, and it's not really believable because he's done something that's like super heroic, and he's being framed for doing something kind of awful, and nobody's willing to hear him out, and it doesn't make any sense. This makes a lot more sense because Woody hasn't really done anything super heroic. He's just done something that kind of screwed over Buzz.
And it's not like he's being framed for it either. I mean,
Yeah,
he didn't mean for the action, but he definitely did the cause.
exactly. Yeah, and
Also, you're off by one movie.
it's the 26th.
Lightyear's the 26th movie. Turning Red was the 25th.
Damn. Well, that's unfortunate. I guess I forgot Cars 2 existed.
Now, I know you were wrong because I feel like I've heard that this is the 25th Pixar movie somewhere else. And yeah, it was during our 25th, it was during our Turning Red movie.
Yeah. So, okay. A lot of the voice actors in this movie are great, but I don't think I've heard them in really anything else outside of Toy Story.
No, you're right though. Oh, was it? Yeah, I believe Mr. Potato Head's voice actor's dead.
I am not sure if I knew that.
I remember that because of I want to say that he was dead before even recording Toy Story 4. And what they did was take all of the available audio from all of their different properties of Toy Story and combine them into to complete Toy Story 4's audio. Or at least his character.
I actually don't even remember him being that involved in Toy Story 4, come to think of it.
I think that's why.
But yeah. So, you haven't said much in regards to like things that you don't
other
particularly
than not like I don't know. I mean, obviously, I will put this movie below my favorites, but above other movies.
I mean, I think this movie, like, okay, in terms of like ranking it amongst other Pixar movies, I'm gonna compare it to the other movies we've covered. Which, correct me if I'm wrong, the only Pixar movies we've covered are Turning Red, Up, and WALL-E, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so I definitely think it's better than Up. I don't know if it's better than WALL-E. Certainly not better than Turning Red. In my eyes.
In my eyes, to this day, I cannot say anything better than WALL-E. As for Turning Red and Up, better than Up. Turning Red, yeah, no, I like Turning Red better.
Yeah, see, I wouldn't even
still up there.
I wouldn't consider like even the first Toy Story movie to be my favorite. Like honestly, if I had to rank them, The first one probably ranks third for me.
Hmm.
And
If
it's
I
not a
had to,
bad movie. Certainly not.
yeah, when talking about Pixar movies, this movie is really good.
Yeah. It's at least B tier.
And there's not a lot of, how do I say, bad Pixar movies, so,
Yeah, because there's only one, and it's Cars 2.
you know, you have your okay Pixar movies, which includes most, if not all, of the sequel lineup.
Okay, so I would say your okay Pixar movies are just The Good Dinosaur, Brave, um, Cars 1.
What about your, I mean, Incredibles 2 is okay, but Finding Dory,
I would say Finding Dory is actually pretty good. Yes, it
okay.
has the ridiculous moment where Dory drives a truck off a cliff, but other than that, it's a pretty good movie.
The only unrealistic part about Dory driving, but I can understand how Dory would drive it off a cliff.
I mean, technically, she wasn't moving the steering wheel, it was a septopus, but she was giving out the directions, and it just seemed unrealistic as hell.
I mean, a fish is talking. I don't know how, realistic you want it here.
Yeah, a fish with memory loss.
Yeah.
Don't think she should be able to give directions. That
But
whole
like
scene was a mess, though.
when it
The,
comes to
the
this
entire
movie,
scene.
yeah. When it comes to this movie, you know, a phenomenon like I can understand it has flaws. I just can't really pinpoint what they are.
Well, I
Like
mean,
it's not a
like I said,
flawless
it's the
movie. It's
I mean, like I said, like the human faces are definitely one. The plot hole
yeah.
with Buzz, which there are a lot of theories about, to be fair. Um, but yeah, like this movie is really, really good, and I don't know. I have a cousin who says it's completely unwatchable, and
I'm sorry.
yeah, honey, you haven't seen any bad movies if you think this is completely unwatchable.
God, I can watch something from Despicable Me. This ain't unwatchable.
God, I don't know if we want to ban Illumination, but part of me feels like banning Illumination from our podcast. But then we couldn't do the Mario movie.
Oh, that's true. And depending on how it is, who knows? We might want to.
Yeah, I mean, Illumination is a really bad tracker record. They're not known for making good movies.
But then again, we're not known for only covering good movies.
Aren't we? I mean, hasn't the only really bad movie we've covered been The Lightning Thief?
Yeah, we also have the second one on our wheel.
Yeah, but
What is the
then we
other?
get to leave. Then we
Hmm?
get to leave that franchise alone for a while.
Yeah, and when it comes back, hopefully it'll be better. Actually,
I
it
mean,
has to be better because not much is worse.
The Last Airbender.
We're never touching that.
No.
No.
Yeah, I ain't touching that like with a 10-foot pole. You could pay me $1 billion and I still wouldn't cover this movie. Speaking of
Yeah,
getting paid, we're sort of getting paid for the podcast now. Not
11
really.
cents.
I think we
Let's
were up to
go.
13 last I checked.
13.
Yeah, it
Thanks,
ain't much.
Spotify.
But yeah, so Do you have anything else to say, or should I get into the critic ratings?
Yeah, and the critic ratings.
Okay. IMDb gives this an 8.3 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes gives it 100%.
Really?
Yeah. Facebook has a rating.
Facebook has an opinion?
Yeah. 5 out of 5. And 90% of Google users liked the movie.
Oh, I know the 10% who didn't.
Yeah, I want to find them and punch them in the face. So, would you like to go first with giving your rating?
Maybe I would. Maybe I would. Actually, I think, a clear-cut 8.5. A movie that has influenced all other movies coming forward, but still has, struggling with keeping into the modern era.
So,
What do you say?
funny thing, I premeditated that I was going to give this movie an 8.6.
Because of the Will Hammer screen, an 8.5.
Yeah, because of that stupid Wilhelm scream, it's an 8.5. So, yet another movie where we both rank it the same.
This is just your daily reminder of we do not talk about our ratings beforehand.
Yeah, we don't. But yeah, until next time, I've been Avery, that's been Lily, and you are a sad, strange little man, and you have my pity. Farewell.
You are a toy!